All right, so today we're diving into this fascinating interview with Shou.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that name doesn't ring a bell,
Yeah.
he's the CEO of TikTok.
Yeah. Big name.
And he sat down with Andrew Ross Sorkin
Oh, wow.
at a New York Times event recently.
Okay.
And they really got into some pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
It's way more than just like viral dances and trends.
Right.
We're talking like national security, the algorithm, all that.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
It's a conversation I think a lot of people are going to be interested in.
for sure.
We're going to try to break it down
Yeah,
and sift through it so you can really understand what's going on
behind the scenes at TikTok.
behind the scenes at TikTok.
Okay, so let's jump right in
Okay.
with the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
National security concerns. These seem to be front and center these days
Right.
with TikTok.
Understandably so.
Yeah, the U.S. government's pretty worried
Yeah.
about TikTok's Chinese ownership
Uh.
and what that could mean for all of our data.
Right.
What did you have to say about that?
Well, he addressed the concerns head on,
Okay.
and he brought up what TikTok calls Project Texas.
Okay.
So basically, it's their plan to store all U.S. user data
Okay.
on servers that are managed by Oracle,
Oh.
right here in the U.S.
So they're trying to create kind of like a digital wall
Right, a separate.
around U.S. user
Yeah,
data.
exactly.
But is that really enough to ease those national security concerns?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, some experts are saying that this is maybe just a PR move and doesn't really address the core issue of potential Chinese government influence.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's a valid concern, I think,
Yeah.
because even if the data is stored here,
Right.
there's still the question of whether the Chinese government could exert influence
Uh-huh.
over ByteDance, the parent company.
Right.
And then on top of that, you have people like FBI Director Chris Wray,
Yeah.
who's actually gone on record and told Congress that he is extremely concerned because Chinese law obligates companies to cooperate with their government's requests.
Right. So it's like, even if they say they won't do it,
Exactly.
they might be forced to.
Right. It's a complex issue, and there's no easy answers, I think.
It's a pretty stark statement
Yeah,
from the FBI director.
for sure.
Definitely makes you think.
Mm-hmm.
Chu did say that no foreign government has ever asked for U.S. user data
Right.
and that TikTok would refuse if asked.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the underlying question is, in this globalized digital world,
Right.
who really controls the data?
Yeah, data sovereignty is a huge question right now.
Yeah.
But let's move on to something a little bit lighter,
Yeah.
something I think we're all curious about.
Yeah.
The algorithm.
The algorithm.
How does TikTok seem to know exactly what we want to see?
Right.
Like sometimes it's almost creepy
It is creepy.
how well it recommends videos.
Yeah.
So Chu kept it pretty high level in this interview,
Okay.
talking about using math, behavioral signals to personalize the content.
Right.
But we know it goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, like how long you watch a video.
Yep.
If you rewatch it,
If you share it.
if you like it, if you comment on it,
Mhm.
even what type of device you're using,
Okay.
all those things feed the algorithm.
So they're watching everything.
Oh, yeah.
He also mentioned
Yeah.
that this idea of a single centralized algorithm controlled by ByteDance is outdated.
Right.
So what's the reality there?
Well, TikTok utilizes machine learning,
Okay.
which basically means that the algorithm is constantly evolving
Right.
based on user data from all the different countries where they operate.
So it's learning from everyone all the time.
Exactly. It's like this giant feedback loop.
Wow.
So the more we use TikTok,
Right.
the more data it gathers,
Right.
and the smarter the algorithm gets at predicting what we want to see.
So it's not just one giant brain
Right.
controlling everything.
Yeah.
It's more like a network of algorithms constantly learning and adapting.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And I think that raises some really interesting questions,
Yeah.
especially when you consider the potential downsides.
Uh-huh.
You've got billions of users generating mountains of data,
Right.
and that data is being used to shape what people see
Right.
and how they experience the world.
Which brings us to those concerns about TikTok's potential negative impacts, especially on younger users.
Yeah.
There have been some, tragic stories about content promoting things like eating disorders,
Right.
teenage vaping,
For sure.
all that stuff.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And to his credit, Chu acknowledged these issues
Really?
directly in the interview.
Yeah.
He talked about their efforts to moderate harmful content and
Okay.
build in safeguards, especially for those younger users.
So how do they even begin to tackle content moderation?
Right.
On a platform as massive as TikTok?
Yeah.
Are they just relying on users to flag things?
Well, they're definitely doing more than just relying on users.
Okay.
They're investing heavily in algorithms, as well as human moderators who are working around the clock to identify and remove this harmful content.
So it's humans and AI.
Yeah, working in tandem.
Wow. That's got to be like a constant game of whack-a-mole, though,
It is.
with new content being uploaded every second.
Oh, yeah, it's a huge challenge.
I mean, how do you even define harmful content
Mm-hmm.
in a way that applies across different cultures and contexts?
Right.
It's got to be a lot of gray areas there.
Absolutely. It's this constant struggle to balance freedom of expression with protecting users from harmful material.
Yeah.
They're trying to walk a tightrope,
Uh-huh.
and it's not always going to be perfect,
Right.
but they are making a conscious effort to take responsibility for the content,
Okay.
which is more than we can say for some other social media giants.
For sure.
They also mentioned that they are creating kind of a different experience for users under 18 and offering parental control tools
Oh, okay.
through what they call family pairing.
Okay.
But, like any parent knows,
Yeah.
it's tough to control everything your kids see online.
For sure. It feels like these are just essential skills for navigating the digital world in general,
It is.
not just TikTok.
That's a good point.
So moving on from the potentially negative aspects,
Okay.
what does Shou see as the future of TikTok? Where does he think this is all headed?
Well, he kept coming back to their mission
Okay.
to inspire creativity and bring joy. And he even used this interesting analogy of a window, a canvas, and bridges.
Okay, I like where this is going.
So the window is the For You page, which
Okay.
lets you discover new content and perspectives.
Uh-huh.
It's like looking into another world.
Right.
The canvas is where you get to create and express yourself
Okay.
through those short videos.
Okay.
And the bridges are all about building those connections
That'll
and
be-
community.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So he sees TikTok as this platform
Yeah,
for discovery, creation, and connection.
exactly. He wants TikTok to be a place where people can unleash their creativity,
Uh-huh.
connect with others, and find joy.
Okay, that sounds really nice.
Yeah,
But is it realistic?
that's a great question.
Yeah. I mean, can a platform like TikTok really live up to that ideal?
Right.
What are the challenges they might face?
That's something that we'll explore further in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
All right.
We'll be right back to continue our exploration of Shou's vision for the future of TikTok.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're back.
We are back.
Still unpacking this interview with Shou.
Yep.
We left off talking about TikTok's mission
Right.
to inspire creativity and bring joy.
It's a pretty big goal.
Yeah, especially in the world of social media.
It is, and I think it leads to the question of can they actually do that while also navigating all the complexities of this social media landscape we have?
So how does TikTok fit into the bigger picture?
Yeah.
I mean, is it really that different from other platforms?
Right.
Or is it just the same game with a new coat of paint?
That's what's so fascinating about this. I think on one hand, you could say TikTok is just the latest evolution of social media.
Yeah.
But when you dig a little deeper,
Okay.
you start to see some subtle
Yep.
but potentially significant differences.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, take their laser focus on short form video.
Okay.
That right there sets them apart from platforms like Facebook,
Right.
which try to be everything to everyone.
They're trying to do it all.
They're trying to do it all.
Yeah.
TikTok is doubling down on what they do best,
Okay.
which is creating this platform
Mm-hmm.
that's all about quick, engaging visual content.
Yeah, it seems like they've really tapped into how we consume information these days.
I think so.
Everything's going to be fast, fun, eye-catching.
Totally. And look at how much time people are actually spending on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's not just competing with other social media. It's competing with all forms of entertainment.
It's true.
Yeah.
I've definitely lost track of time
Me too.
scrolling through TikTok.
For sure.
So does that mean they're actually changing the game or just playing it better?
I think it's a bit of both.
Okay.
They are playing the game well, for sure,
Yeah.
but they're also kind of introducing new rules.
Okay.
Their approach to content moderation, for instance,
Right.
feels a lot more proactive, I think.
Okay. So instead of just waiting for users to flag inappropriate content, they're actually trying to get ahead of it.
Yes. They're investing in those algorithms and human moderators to identify and remove harmful content.
So it's not a perfect system,
No,
But it's at least a step in the right direction.
For sure. It's a step in the right direction, especially when you think about
Yeah.
the potential impact on
yeah.
young users.
Just so. Yeah.
It seems like they're taking that responsibility pretty seriously.
Yeah. And that brings us back to Shou's leadership and his vision for TikTok. Remember when he talked about his own kids
Yes.
being too young for TikTok?
You did.
He even joked about Andrew Ross Sorkin's sons.
I know.
Who are 12,
Right.
already being on the platform.
Right. They're already there.
It was a funny moment.
It was.
But it also showed that he's thinking about these issues from a parent's perspective.
Absolutely. He wants TikTok to be a platform that parents can feel good about.
Right.
And that means making those tough choices to ensure age-appropriate content, robust parental controls.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold stance, especially in the industry.
Yeah.
That's often criticized for prioritizing profit over user well-being.
That's true.
It seems like he's trying to strike a balance there.
He is. And it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain that balance as TikTok grows and faces pressure to monetize.
I mean, they've already said they don't accept political ads.
Right.
But what about other types of advertising?
Yeah.
How do they make money while staying true to their mission?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah. He didn't really give a concrete answer in the interview.
No, he didn't. But I think you can get a sense of his approach from his emphasis on building a sustainable business. He's not interested in those quick wins. He's thinking long-term, building a company that can adapt and evolve.
Which makes sense, considering how quickly things can change in the tech world.
Absolutely.
I mean, what's hot today might be old news tomorrow.
Oh, for sure. That's where their focus on innovation and creativity comes in. They're not sitting still. They're constantly looking for new ways to engage users and evolve the platform.
So it's all about staying one step ahead of the trends.
It is, which is no easy feat.
Right.
Yeah.
But as they get bigger, can they hold on to that unique identity?
That's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's easy to be the cool, edgy underdog when you're starting out.
Right.
But as you grow, there's that risk of becoming more corporate, more mainstream, and losing that spark.
It's like a band that gets too big and loses their indie cred.
Exactly.
Their early fans feel like they sold out.
100%.
Yeah.
So the challenge for TikTok is to innovate,
Yeah.
to grow, and to generate revenue, all while staying true to that mission and those values.
Yeah, that's not going to be easy.
Not at all. But based on this interview, it seems like Shou is up for the challenge.
Yeah, he does seem like he's got a vision.
He does.
And he's not afraid to make those tough decisions.
And he's not afraid to poke a little fun at himself either. Like that bit about his kids being too young for TikTok.
Yeah, it was a nice touch.
It was.
Showed that he's not just some out-of-touch CEO.
Right.
He's a parent grappling with the same
exact
digital dilemmas as the rest of us.
Which I think resonates with people.
For sure.
Especially parents who are trying to figure out this whole digital parenting thing.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a learning curve for all of us.
Absolutely. But beyond the parenting aspect, I think this interview really highlights the broader implications of TikTok's rise.
It's about more than just entertainment.
It is. It's about the future of social interaction, content creation, information consumption.
It's the power of technology.
It is.
To connect us, inspire us, and shape our understanding of the world.
All of that. And with that power comes a huge responsibility.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that brings us to the core question.
Okay.
Is TikTok ultimately a force for good or bad in the world?
That's the question we're going to tackle in the final part.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so we've been through all these different aspects of TikTok through Shou's interview.
Right.
And now we're at like the big question.
Yeah.
Is it a force for good or bad in the world?
I mean, that is the question, isn't it?
It feels like a tough one.
It's a complex question.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a simple yes or no answer.
Right.
Like any powerful tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Yeah.
We've seen the positive side.
Right.
You know, the creativity, the community building, even the economic opportunities.
Right. Like that story about Brian, the photographer, who moved to Tennessee to be a farmer and built a whole business through his TikTok community.
Exactly. I mean, that story really highlights how TikTok can connect people with shared interests, provide a platform for creative expression, and even empower people to pursue their passions and build livelihoods.
And then there are all those videos that just make you smile.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that restore your faith in humanity.
Absolutely.
And remind you of the good in the world.
Those are the moments that make social media worthwhile.
For sure.
You know, the ones that show the power of human connection.
Yeah.
But we can't ignore the potential downsides either.
Right.
We've talked about data security concerns, impact on young people, the possibility of addiction,
All right.
the spread of misinformation.
It's a lot to weigh.
It is.
So I'm starting to think that maybe the question isn't so much about TikTok itself being good or bad, but more about how we use it,
Yeah.
both as individuals and as a society.
That's a really important point, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, TikTok, like any social media platform, is a reflection of us. It amplifies both the positive and the negative aspects of human nature.
So it's really up to us to be mindful of how we engage with it.
100%. We can choose to use TikTok to connect with others in meaningful ways,
Right.
learn new things and express ourselves creatively, or we can get caught up in the endless scroll, comparing ourselves to others and feeling inadequate.
That's the danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like anything else. It's about finding a healthy balance.
Right.
Being intentional about our usage.
Exactly. And demanding accountability from the platform itself. That's where things like Project Texas, content moderation efforts, and parental controls become so crucial.
Yeah.
You know, they're not perfect solutions, but they show a willingness to address the concerns and try to mitigate the risks.
Shou did seem to understand that responsibility, at least based on what he said in the interview.
Right.
But actions speak louder than words.
They do. And it'll be interesting to see how TikTok follows through on those commitments and how we, as users and as citizens, hold them accountable.
Yeah, the future of TikTok really is in our hands.
It is. We have the power
for sure
to shape what kind of platform it becomes.
So where do you land on that question after all this discussion?
Honestly, I think it's too early to say for sure.
Okay.
It's a platform that's still evolving, and its impact is still unfolding. I'm going to leave that question with you, our listener.
Yeah.
We've explored the complexities.
For sure.
The potential benefit, and the potential risks. Now it's up to you to form your own opinion.
That's what we always want to do here on the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Give you the information and different perspectives.
I'm sure.
So you could draw your own conclusions.
Absolutely.
There's no right or wrong answer here.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's a complex issue with a lot of nuance.
Right.
And it invites us to think critically.
For sure.
And engage in these meaningful conversations.
So keep exploring TikTok.
Yeah.
Engage with the content. See what you think.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And that brings us to the end of this deep dive.
It does.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time.
Yeah.
Keep learning. Keep questioning.
Keep diving deep.
And keep diving deep.